Hello and welcome to this multiplayer tutorial for DCS. So maybe you just downloaded DCS and want to hop onto multiplayer, or you have flown it a couple of times and know your jet's somewhat okay and want to try multiplayer. Or maybe you're already in a server now and are just looking up for some advice how to properly fly the plane or take off and learn some multiplayer aspects. Well, if that is you, just stop what you're doing and for the love of God, just exit the server. Do us all a favor, just exit. Because you'll just be a nuisance and an annoyance to other players on the server. The reason I'm actually making this video is because every day I see noobs fuck up everything. Like they crash into planes on the taxi field. They don't wait for planes to land when they take off the runway, causing crashes. They shoot down friendlies because they don't know difference between friendly and enemy on their radar. They have no clue whatsoever how to basically properly fly the plane and do combat missions. So if that is you and you're on the server, please again just exit the server and do some trainings missions and know your jet inside and out, everything about it, and also how to do proper missions and using the map, etc. So that being said, if you don't know where to start, basically, if you feel a bit lost, I would recommend you first start with F-15. It's the best fighter in the game and real world too. Some will argue with me, but it's an undeniable fact. The F-15 has a kill ratio of 140 to 0 before someone started to take down the plane. Like 140 to 0 kill ratio. No other planes on this earth has that kill ratio. So it's the best air-to-air fighter in the game, and that's what you should start because the game is very deep. Like you shouldn't even think about start bombing or anything until you at least know how to do air-to-air combat. So bombing is the last thing you should learn. And this plane right now it can't have bombs, but the F-15E Strike Eagle will soon come out on DCS, new model, and that plane that will have bombs on it too. So after you learn the F-15C, you can just traverse to the F-15E. It's basically the same plane. So yeah, and you should do some like I said earlier, before you go into multiplayer, you should do some missions. And I have the missions for you here. So go to missions here, and you have something called F-15C training by N22YF. It doesn't come with the game, but you can download them, and I will provide a link in the video description, or you can Google it. You will find it on DCS download page. So once you downloaded the training mission, go here and do all of them. This will probably take you 3 to 4 hours, maybe more, and you will some of them you have to redo because you'll probably forget something. It's a lot of information. So do all of this, and once you've done them, don't go to multiplayer yet. You're not ready because you need to get the feel for the game, how it works. So after you've done all that, you should do some some missions. And I would recommend you, if you don't have Flaming Cliffs, just get it because it comes with 5 or 6 planes, I think, and F-15 is one of them. And it also comes with a lot of missions and some campaigns. So get Flaming Cliffs, it's very cheap. And here you have, see, it has some F-15 missions. So, and you can also download missions from the DLC, no DCS webpage for the F-15. That's free. So, but after you, yeah, like I said, after you've done the training missions I showed you, then fly all of these missions here. Maybe it will take you a couple of days, or you know, because each of these missions here can last a few hours. So do all of this first, and when you've done all this and you feel you master everything, you don't find it hard to shoot down enemy AI planes, finding them on the radar, and find your navigating and finding your base and all that, then you're ready for multiplayer. And this is where my video basically start now, how to show you how to behave and what to do on multiplayer and what not to do. And because there's been a lot of drama lately on the different servers with the players. Some basically almost hate each other, but it's because they do some other bad things on the server that I will talk about too. So yeah, now you've done all that, the training, etc. You know ins and outs of your F15, and you're ready to go multiplayer. So click multiplayer and find a server now with not too many players, like this one here. It's a pretty good server, but it has some problems too, but I'll talk about it. So click here and you just join. Also, many people recommend me getting this SRS client. It's basically just the in-game radio, but nobody uses it almost. So it's better to, if you want to fly with some friends and talk, just use Discord. It's better. And that it's so annoying, this SRS. It's every time if you start a new plane or something, it resets. So you have to recalibrate the frequencies and stuff, and it's really a pain in the ass to use. So don't bother with it. And yeah, and if you scroll a bit down, you'll see some highlighted areas here. That's where you can basically spawn the plane you own for DCS. So, and on the blue side, it's only the F15 that's available. On the red side, it's more planes. Like you see, I can fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, many different planes here I can fly. But I have not learned these planes yet, so I'm only flying the F15. That's only jet I learned. And learning a new plane is like almost like a new game almost. So yeah, and here you can see places you can spawn. Each of these slots here are hangars. So if you choose one slot, that slot will be yours during the entire server time. Sorry, I mean session. So just click on one of these and you get to a hangar. There, and now you see him have a slot, and then you just click briefing. And here you should read the rules. Ramming, killing, not allowed, blah blah blah. There's these you should follow, and these are getting broken every day from players, and that's what's causing the drama and people getting annoyed. And click fly, and now you spawn into your plane here. So just close my canopy. So, and now you're just spawn your plane. We are in a hangar here on a runway. So some get a bit confused right away once they're on a multiplayer server. So, but I assume now that you've done all the training missions and done some campaigns and normal missions. So you should know how to taxi takeoff. This should not be unfamiliar to you. So I'll just jump right in and assume you know all that. So the first thing you want to do on a multiplayer server is just click F10 for the map. And then you'll see a map with many icons and stuff. And some servers have it shown the enemies tags as well. On the easier server you have where you just fly PvE, not against other players. You will usually see the red icons for where the enemy planes are and the bases and everything. But on this server it's more realistic, so here you don't see anything other than your own units. So you see your own planes, that's on your side, and on your bases and SAM sites, etc. So, but what you first want to do is click this icon here. Then you can see names above the icons. So, like this here, this is a tanker. The K symbols and V symbols, these are not players. Wizard is the AWACS, and W probably for AWACS, and yeah, this is the tanker. So these are AI flown planes. So like, but if you scroll in and see unhinged me, here you see F, those are players. And F stands for fighter, and the name above is a player. If it doesn't have like a special name or nickname, it's not a player, then it's AI. And the most important thing about multiplayer is using the F10 map. And why is that? Because you'll get a good situational awareness where your teammates are, where they're flying. You should always fly with them, not alone, because then you'll be vulnerable. And But the most important thing is to see where they are on the runway. Like now a new guy spawn I got. So as I'm starting my plane and I'm about to take off, I should check here that it's there's no planes coming towards the runway who want to land, and that it's clear before I take off, because I'm here and I will taxi down here and I'll take off. So you need to make sure that it's ready for you to take off. And you can also click on other players. Let's say if this guy here, he come flying into the runway, you can click on him, and then you can see his speed and altitude here. So let's say if you see a plane coming towards the runway here, and you see his speed is around 200 or 300, then it's probably about to land, because that's very slow. Or maybe it's even lower, and then you know he'll land. So then you don't take off. You wait here on the taxiway, and not on the runway here. You wait here, so he can land, and after landed you can take off. And I see this happen every day. People crash together here, or but mostly the dangerous places here on the tax field, because people are taxiing way too fast. You should not tax over 30 knots. Like keep it 20, 25, it's okay. But when you get to 30, you feel it's a bit too fast. And if somebody's coming out here or from the hangars, you have no chance of stopping and it will crash. So like I said, if you stress in this game and try to be quickly, it will only eventually make you slower. Basically, you will crash, do something stupid, and you have to restart and do everything again. Start your plane, rearm, and you will waste maybe 10 or 20 minutes because you just wanted to save a few seconds or a minute or something. So take it easy, take it slow, don't stress. If some planes are cluttered up here and not taking off, don't try to fly past them and take off beside them. You will just end up fucking it up and crashing. And maybe there's a reason they're waiting too, because maybe they see a plane coming in and they already here, so it's too late, so they will just stop here and the plane will land and he can probably stop here, or and he will slowly go by them. So, but again, like I said, use the F10 map to see watch for other planes so you don't fuck up. So that being said, back in the cockpit, you should just start your plane. First you need to start the cockpit. And also trick is to click the see up in the right corner, you can get information from AWACS, and this is very annoying because now it's reports to player and other aircraft. So I clicked this a couple of times until it says nothing. And this button you should have in your controls. I mapped it to, it's called receive mode, and I mapped it to right shift plus M, but the default is right shift plus and this icon here, so have that mapped. And yeah, then you just start your jet. I start this a bit differently. I start the left engine first and then the right engine manually. You have a way to start the jet, but it's called engine starts, and with this it will start automatically for you. But if you start your left engine first, and as it starts to spool up and you see the RPM moves and you immediately click the right engine to start it, then you will start your plane faster. So that's how I do it. It saves me maybe 20 seconds or something. So yeah, but now we're on the multiplayer server, so what to do now? Well, you have to arm your plane. It has no missiles or bags or extra fuel, but they call it bags in real life and in game. So we need to arm our plane. So how do you do that? Well, again, you probably maybe don't know this, but you need to map your button. It's called rearming and refueling window. I'm just mapped mine to Q, but default is left alt plus this icon here, tilde I think. So you click that and you can rearm your plane. So I just take here. I also have a video on my channel how to make custom loadouts, just watch that. It's a bit complicated, but it will save you a lot of time. So you can just make your own loadout, so you don't have to click a certain loadout and then adjust it. So I like to fly this with 2 bags. 3 bags I feel is a bit too heavy for this plane, so 2 bags is more than plenty of fuel. You don't fly that long on the server anyway. So there, and a skin I like. So yeah, now you click this and here. So you just click OK. and here we'll start to rearm your plane. Notice that if you haven't turned on your cockpit, so if you don't see any lights or blinking or stuff in the cockpit, you can't rearm. At least for me, that happens on some servers. So just make sure at least your instruments are on. So also right click and H, and you can change your HUD color. I like mine this in daylight, this yellow here. Starting mine, and also if you don't know, you can if you don't know one thing, you can change your so you see your fuel on your external tank. So you click left shift and D until external wing, and then you see your fuels on the what you have on your external tanks there. So rearming is complete now. You see all the rockets are in, so you can start your plane now. You can't rearm your plane if it's if the engines are warm. It's for the crew safety. So your engines need to be cold when you rearm, but you can refuel with a hot engine. So yeah, starting my left engine, and as you see here, see the engine when it starts to get RPMs up. I start my right engine, and this is a quicker way than just auto start your plane. There. I also like to turn on my radar before I take off, like here, so I have it ready in case of incoming spawn campers. That happens a lot lately, and it's pretty annoying. And my flaps down. So we just wait until the engine is warm ready, and we should be able to taxi soon. You can ask the tower for permission to take off and land, but it's no point using it because nobody else is using it. If everybody was using it and following the protocols, it would be better, but since nobody is using it, it's no point using it, because even if the server said, oh yeah, you're clear to take off, because nobody else asked for permission to land or take off, the tower AI tower will think, oh, you're clear to take off, but maybe one plane is landing or another guy is already trying to take off. So don't bother using it in multiplayer. So engines warmed up. Again, click F10 again, see if it's clear around here. Some planes can be coming down here when you go out, so it's always good to check the F10. As you can see now, he's on the runway about to take off, and it looks clear around the airfield. No planes are coming in, so we can just go out, start the engine, and taxi to runway. I would also recommend you getting a track ER so you can look around, or a VR headset, so it's easy to get situational awareness. And as you can see, I'm not taxiing fast. I keep it maybe a bit below 20. Around 20 is fine. So, and I'm assuming you know how to do all this, because those training missions will take you 3 to 4 hours to learn properly, and I'm not that patient to teach people that much. Also, probably I will say something wrong, because me myself, I don't remember everything. And I should also probably do some training missions again. But once you've flown this game for a week or two, then you will start to get a feel for it, how it works. And multiplayer is a very special, different thing. So now we're taxiing here. You should follow the yellow line to taxi. And if you click F4, you can see behind you. And you should always do that before you stop here, because it's like 3 or 4 out of 10 times every time I'm here. And if I stop here to check if it's ready before I take off, some plane will crash into me. And if I see a guy behind me has a high speed, I will turn to the right and wait there instead. Yeah, now we're getting close to runway, and we saw earlier that this other guy took off, and it looks clear, but still, don't take off yet. Stop here, F10, check again. No planes coming out here, no coming out here. Everything is clear. Zoom out, don't see any planes coming in. Now it's ready to take off. So now you should just quickly take off. Usually what happens when you stop here and check if it's ready, and there's other planes here, they will always try to get around you on your right, but just ignore them and just you can block them because you were there first and you checked if it was ready. They did not, and just drive up here and you can just basically block them, and or stay to the left so they can take off to your right because you don't want to crash. So when you stop here, and also as you're taxiing down the runway, every time you move your plane around on the taxiway or runway, don't use F10, because if your plane is moving and you're using F10, you can easily crash into something and you lose control of the plane. So yeah, now we're going to take off. Everything's ready. There we go. Gear up, flaps up, navigation lights off. You should actually keep your navigation lights on longer, because just a bad habit I have. But I actually took them off before. There's a lot of spawn camping in the game, so I just took them off earlier. There. Turn on the volume on the RDR. Yeah, so now we're in there, so now I'm thinking, okay, what to do on the multiplayer server? Well, basically, some server have missions. If you read, press Alt B, you can read the missions. Some have, this server has mostly just air-to-air combat. They have some missions here where you should bomb they have some targets here you can bomb, or yeah. But basically most people in the server just fly north and engage enemies, because up north here you have mountains, and that's where the combat usually happens, because you can hide in the mountains, you can pop up, shoot, and it's like halfway between enemy and friendly airfields. So the enemy airfields are obviously here because there's no blue icon, so these are enemy's airfields. Everything basically crossing this red border here, that's enemy territory outside here. And you will usually, up north, you will usually find enemy tankers and AWACS. Don't shoot them down, it's not nice, and it's also not allowed to shoot down tankers on this server. So if you see a player doing it, he's breaking the law. Yeah, so what I usually do is that I fly pretty high up here. I fly around 37,000 and just basically look for enemy aircrafts. So what to not do on the server is that it's not allowed to, if you read the rules, it's not allowed to spawn camp. And yeah, also don't take off from taxiways, like but that should be pretty obvious. The place we taxed it on, that you should not exceed 30 knots, so don't take off from there and you will just end up crashing into people. And yeah, so but what's really cringe is that if you fly too close to an airfield here, you're around this area about yeah, say, yeah, if middle mouse button, you can get this here and you can see the angle and distance. Very useful if you want to fly somewhere, like I'm here. I'm gonna fly here and you see I follow 019 and it's 50 miles. So but let's say if you're around here or here is okay to be, but if you're here or here, is too close to enemy airfields. Like from here you can basically, it's 30 miles, or here you can shoot rockets at just planes to take off. So don't fly too close to enemy airfields and shoot down planes taking off, because they have no chance. You have high speed, you're higher up, your rockets will be way more effective than theirs. So once you get in the middle of the mountains over here, just don't cross it, basically. Of course you can chase down, if you're in a dogfight, you can of course chase a plane who tries to escape back to his home plate. That's perfectly fine, but don't stay in this area here or closer to the airfields and shoot down planes taking off, or even, I've seen it happen so much. Both sides are doing it, red and blue side, because usually you have some players who just play on red side because of the planes, and some players just fly blue side. So it's sort of, you get like rivals here. And there's also one thing bad people do is like they're in a dogfight and they start to lose and they get pissy and they click escape, they click select role, and they click back to spectators. What happens is that your plane disappears from the air and you're just in spectator and you can just respawn at your base. And the other guys, they don't get the kill. Also, be very careful when you click here and select role. Don't click exit here, then it will exit the server. It's a bit... so just click your escape button on your keyboard. Or briefing, I think, but I'm not gonna do that now. And yeah, so that happens. That it is basically called a reslot in game. And let's say you're in a dogfight, you're chasing a guy, about to shoot him, and he plane disappears. It happens not a lot, but it happens sometimes, and it's super annoying. And it's because the guy's a coward and he don't want you to get the kill and he don't want to get the bad score. Because when you do this, you will not get death on your scoreboard here. And some people just play for the scoreboard. So there's high score, many kills, 0 loss, you know, and they don't want to get lost, so they just exit like that. And it's so stupid. I don't know why DCS has this, because it's mainly a multiplayer game. And IL-2 Stormavik is way better this way. There you can't exit the plane in mid-air, you have to land it. And if you choose to leave the server, you will get a penalty, or you can even be kicked or banned. Like if you leave mid-air. Or they have something like if you leave mid-air, your plane will still keep flying, and if the guy shot at you or close to you, he'll get the kill. So in IL-2 Stormavik, you don't see that happen a lot, because you basically have to exit the game to do that. And but here it's so easy to do. You can just reslot and restart the airbase. Like, let's say I've flown over here, come up here, and shit, oh, 3-4 guys shooting rocket at me. I know I'll be dead. They're too close, I didn't see them. And I can just please escape and select role back to spectators. It takes a couple of seconds and I'll disappear from there and I can respawn. So just don't be that guy, please. And I'm really baffled why DCS haven't done something about this, because it's some people just do it to, it makes the game unrealistic, because some people fly a long time, they fight a bit, and after they finish fighting, maybe they even kill a few planes, and they I have a little fuel, I can't get back to base, so they just reslot and respawn, and it makes the game very unrealistic. You don't it almost starts to be like War Thunder in a way. Just fly up, shoot, and poof, you disappear and back to base. So that's one thing I don't like about DCS. So I expected it to be much more, like in terms of a dynamic war campaign, but it's not. After it's been out since 2013, and I'm a bit baffled how little it has come when it comes to, if you compare it to Falcon BMS that has a dynamic campaign on multiplayer and single player. It's like a huge war going on, thousands of assets, and the game works very good. So I'm really amazed why DCS hasn't gone more in that way, because I'm starting to be a bit tired of multiplayer, because it's, what can I say, it's a bit just, I feel like just fly up in the air, shoot some planes, land, and nobody's working together. It's like just for the score, and I think they should make it a bit different with let's say, don't give a player high score for just shooting an aircraft. Give him a high score to do a mission, you know, follow a mission. Then I think people would work more together, because basically now you just get more score for shooting ground targets. That's good, and planes, but there should be more to it than just shooting stuff to get high score. You should maybe do a mission, you know, recon, fly to follow the nav points to a certain area, you know, escort missions for bombers. You should get score for doing that too. So yeah, or maybe just remove the score altogether for players and just make it a red or blue side score, total score. So that way people don't want to fight over kills or have it gets too like ego thing. Okay, so you should ask for, if you don't know it, you can press left Windows button and O. And you will get a bogey up from the AVAX. It says clean, it doesn't find any targets for me. So the server is pretty empty now, it's not many players. Usually it's more, it's 20 or 30 players around, or sometimes 40 players. So now it's very few here. And see this guy here, he's probably the most dangerous here now. Shot down 4 planes. So not sure where he is. And you see I'm flying here now, so a bit too much to the west. So I fly north, and I have don't have much fuel left, so I'm gonna drop my pylons and ease on the throttle. I was burning the whole time. Also remember that the higher you are, the less fuel you will use, so you can, up higher, you can fly much longer. But downside of flying high is that your plane is not so fast when it comes to airspeed, and you can be, if some guy's shooting rockets at you and you're very high up, you will be a sitting duck basically. So you should be around between 20 or 30,000 feet if you're doing combat. But also here the mountains are really high too, so you have to fly a bit high up here to not crash into them. It can also be dangerous because the clouds are very close to the mountains, so sometimes the clouds are in the mountains, so then be aware of that. You should also reset your height altitude when you're here. I think the mountains are 10,000 feet high, but I don't know how to do that. I didn't say in the tutorials how to. Oh, we see a plane here. F-18 to our north. Maybe it's a player. No, it's not. We fly here, and it's F-18 straight ahead. Actually, we fly almost west, so we should be able to see him on our radar soon. And basically, how to win a dogfight if you're not that good. You should have the high speed. Your rockets will fly faster and hit your target better. And you should also keep your enemy to not fly straight towards them, but keep them to your 10 or 2 o'clock. It's called the cranking. And you should get the highest speed possible for your enemy. I don't know how high up this guy is. I'll use my TVS to search left here. Search quicker. I don't know where. Maybe it's very low, maybe it's high, I don't know. Where it is. .284, I think that's him. Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's him. There he is. So he's flying towards us. So we should fly a bit down to get more speed. We have much higher speed than him. Our ground speed is 880 knots and he has 600. So we should keep him at our crank at his left side. So why I want to crank is that because basically if he shoots a rocket at us now, we are at a side angle, and if we turn left or right, his rocket will have to turn towards us. But if we were flying straight towards him and he fire a rocket, then it will take much shorter time until his rocket can hit us. So I just keep cranking, and my high speed is very high now. And as I will get closer to him, I'll fire a rocket. I'll also try to get a bit up, because the higher up you are, the longer rockets can fire. So usually it's 30 miles is a bit long way to shoot rocket, but we can still do it just to scare him off. So I'm cranking into him, get the perfect radar, fire rocket, and I'll crank him again to the other side. He may have fired a rocket at me now, I'm not sure, so we're taking a bit chance here. But he has the F-15, so I should get a radar warning if he shoots a rocket at us. There, shot him in, and very high speed, cranking right again, and we're gonna evade now. Shoot a rocket and evade. I think he fired a rocket. I see some smoke over there, so I'm gonna evade. Fly down, south. Yeah, there's a rocket after us. He shot at long distance. He was higher up than us too, so this is a bit dangerous. Yeah, we killed him, it says in the chat. So we won that fight, and it was because I had higher speed than him, and I was cranking him. He was flying straight towards us, so our rocket hit him. So we'll get back up again. We are way below. This is a dangerous altitude. We can get shot down by SAMs, but on this server, usually I never get shot down by SAMs. It's very few SAMs here, and they are not so dangerous. So yeah, and as you can see, we don't have much fuel, so we should land again. So let's fly back to our airfield. Fly high up to... what was that? So the friendly, yeah. Fly high up, so we burn less fuel and can fly faster. Ground speed faster, that is. And let's go ahead. Just click F10. I see where I am, and I want to land at this airfield here. Click here and just here, and I see 125 degrees, 90 miles. So turn a bit right then. 125, and just keep this here, and it's a bit long flight, so keep watching the RVR that you're not followed by someone, and put it to military speed, and we have plenty of fuel actually, so we'll be fine. The reason why you should fly up when you're back to your base is only when you're safe, of course. If there's MiGs on your ass at 6 o'clock, you should avoid them by flying through the mountains and lose them. You can also turn around, do a 180 and pop up attack them. Like attacking is the best defense. If you're just trying to escape an enemy, that can be dangerous too. But keep in mind the F-15, also the reason I want you to fly the F-15 is the fastest fighter in the game. It can reach Mach 2.5. No other plane in the game can go that fast, I think. Maybe the MiG-29 that can chase you down, but other planes it can't follow you. So it's super fast, and it has plenty of fuel. Like you can fly very long with it. You can even bring an extra bag of fuel, like I didn't, and you can fly even longer. So yeah, what I usually do when I land, I ask for permission to land, because some players will get notified that someone want to land when you get closer. So it was so Senaka Kolki it was, yeah, inbound. Yeah, this there. So we are pretty far away, because the reason I ask for permission to land is that other players will hear it on the radio that when I get close to the airfield, that when I ask for permission to land. So then that increases your chances you will not keep crashing into somebody. But again, like I said, you should just use the F10. But you still should use the F10 and check if it's ready to land there. There's no planes. If it's a plane here, dangerous, he can move out and land. So make sure that before you land, you will not crash into anybody, because it's a big hassle, you know. A guy has started up his plane, he rearmed it, maybe it took him 5 or 10 minutes to get to the airfield. You want to take off, and then a plane crash into him. It's his fault, of course, since he should... Every player landing has the first priority, because it can be low on fuel or it can be emergency landing, so you should have first priority. But players, you know, people, they don't give a fuck. They think, it's a game, I just take off, I don't care. So another thing you can do is that you can land on a different airfield. Usually if I'm over here and flying down, I land at Kutaisi, and here you can rearm too and refuel. You can't respawn from here, but if you manage to land and rearm fuel, you can take off and land from here. And this airfield is perfect because it has no players. I never seen any players there. And here it's usually always full in the evening, or if you're playing on a Saturday with a lot of people. This is crowded, like super crowded. And it's basically, taxi field is like a minefield. It's so dangerous. You don't never know when you're gonna explode when a guy crash into you. So it's a bit pretty funny because basically now the taxiway and landing takeoff is more dangerous than fighting enemies in this game. And it's because of players. They humans fuck things up. And oh yeah, there's a guy in my 6 now. F-18. I'm gonna do ambush on him. Oh, that was a bit quick. Got a whiplash there. There. He's on my. I'm gonna do like this. Full power. Where are you, man? There he is. Alright. Yeah, there. Because he's following me and he would probably shoot a rocket at me. Oh, he's far away, it's 50 miles. There's no... We can try to do one more attack on him and then land. Oh, now there's an F-15 spiking me, man. So that usually happens. New player don't know what he's doing. F-15 body spike. So just write that F-15 body spike, or if you know the name of the guy, you see him and you can write his name too. Because I'm over here and there's F-15. Yeah, that's a good guy. He's probably a noob. I shouldn't do these attacks basically because I don't have enough fuel for this. So I'm just gonna scare off this F-15 here, or F-15. He's still spiking me. He's an idiot. Oh, we're gonna attack. Yeah, just attack. I don't have enough fuel for this basically, but we'll just do an attack just in case to scare him off. Because he's but like I said, we would escape him. He could not fire at us. One rocket there, and we're gonna crank him. I'm not sure if he's fired yet. I'm not sure if he's fired. So fly up there again, and we have very high speed now. I'm much faster than him, so that's an advantage. Rocket down, another rocket, just gonna fire all my missiles at him. Yeah, he's fired. I see some. He fired a rocket, so there's gonna be a rocket at us any minute now. You can see the white trails from his plane and he fire rockets. So we're out of fuel. So basically now we're just gonna eject. And I'm not sure if my rockets will hit him. No, he is evading. I'm not sure why you use flare though. This is heat seekers. It's too far. Can't fire a heat seeker from that distance. Yeah, he basically escaped my rockets. I think he got a kill. So yeah, that's a bit typical multiplayer. Newbie guy got her. He was spiking me on his radar. So what's annoying about that is that you get the spiking warning all the time, so you're not sure if it's enemy or friendly spiking you, and you're also constantly worried that he will shoot rockets at you. Many times on server there's a lot of dogfight. There's a friendly fire. They shoot at friendlies. Heat seekers missing their heat target and hitting friendlies too. So yeah. So we ejected, and what you do now, just click escape and select roll and briefing and fly, and you're back in the cockpit again. So yeah, that was basically a multiplayer tutorial for you. So what we learned: don't speed on taxiway, use F10 map before you take off and land to check if it's ready. Don't shoot friendlies, see where your enemy, use the F10 map a lot to see where your friendlies are on the map, and you should be fine. And also do the training missions I showed you earlier. Don't just watch this video and think you're ready. Do all the training missions for F-15. I will put a link in the video description. And after that, when you learn that, use your knowledge in campaigns and single player missions, do all of them, that in the Flaming Cliffs, then you're ready for multiplayer, and then this video can be useful to you. So yeah, that was it. So fly safe, see you in the next one, bye.